And we're rolling.
Oh, you're still talking.
I like hearing myself talk.
I don't know if this is going to mess up the camera angle, but I'm just going to... That's kind of loud.
That'd be a nice little YouTube clip.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which, speaking of YouTube, I mean, should we just get right into it?
Yeah, I mean, we're on YouTube.
Yeah. Subscribe, please.
Subscribe if you like fucking hearing this.
We're not going to do that.
Oh, now it stops.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No, but you should subscribe to our YouTube because we're on YouTube now. And that's my sales pitch.
Yeah,
that's it.
You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Yeah, that's about it. That's a podcast.
Episode 48 in the books.
Yep, let's wrap this shit up. Speaking of, we talked about the fact that we're doing a giveaway for episode 50.
We did. Did we say that on the last one?
We did. I think we're going to do something with some like protein powder and some protein bars and some other meathead shit.
Which, and I kind of did the math, we have to release it on July 12th because that'll mark 1 year of us being a fucking podcast.
Damn, so we're not even going to be at 52? Shit. So
you know what that means?
You haven't even been doing one a week then, huh? It's 52 weeks in a year. And we did two a week for a while, too.
A couple weeks.
Well, shit.
Sorry, guys.
Damn, I didn't realize we missed that many weeks then.
So
that means we missed about 4 weeks?
At least 6.
Oh, we definitely did miss a couple weeks before we put out the first video podcast.
I think the video podcast is what slowed us down.
Yeah.
But even before, like, over Christmas, New Year's, I think we skipped that week.
Oh, we did. We did. Maybe Thanksgiving, too. I don't know.
Yeah. But that's going to be a big one. Episode 50 on a year.
I know. I remember when we were excited we hit 10. We're like double digits.
Yeah.
That's
It's
funny.
crazy to think we're already at 48.
I know. Soon we'll be fucking coming up by 100. We'll have a big giveaway for 100.
We got to get a big giveaway.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're with Barstool at that time.
That would be dope.
Are we allowed to share that?
I don't know. We're sending them every episode until they tell us to fuck off, or they'll be like, hey, we would love to take you guys on. Your podcast is great.
Tag them.
Yeah, we're making this clip for Instagram. Barstool Sports, we want you guys to take us on.
Two fucking meatheads.
Two meatheads.
What more could you want?
We teach people how to use fitness to enhance their life, not consume it. We help people look hot and get strong as fuck. And
have sex with the lights on.
And not fucking hate their life in the process. So
you're trying to make it all serious, and I'm over here joking around.
No, I mean it's true. Like we help people.
No, I know.
We help people. We help people fuck better.
Yeah.
And
look better while they do it.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. We give people the confidence to fuck with the lights on. That's what we do.
Which we still got to make those shirts.
So it's fun. We do. It's fun.
We
have a good
trademark
time. I'm still trying to do the sales pitch, and you're trying to sell merch right now.
Yeah.
This is not how we normally are. Normally, Zach actually really just doesn't talk, and I'm here. We just keep him here for the hair.
Yes, and the beard.
Well, I think I'm winning in that department right now.
No.
Shoot, I said I wasn't going to talk very much shit because I don't want...
yeah, you don't want them to hate you.
I don't want this to age poorly, and I don't want to talk a bunch of shit and then lose. And I'm pretty confident I won't. I feel like we're both very confident in ourselves to win this.
We're both too alpha.
The fact that you're still this confident when I'm clearly winning right now makes me a little bit nervous that maybe I'm just delusional.
I'm living rent free, baby.
One of us is either one of us is delusional. I don't know who it is yet. I'll know once we get the vote in.
So
but one thing I know is I am committing right now to dye my hair with permanent dye. I'll bleach it and then dye it.
No,
we're putting you on the spot here.
I refuse to do anything that's going to ruin my hair, or that could potentially ruin my hair.
Oh my god. Yeah, you can just use a bucket over there in the closet to put your balls in whenever you come over here.
How big's the bucket?
It's pretty small.
Probably good enough.
We're not done with this Barstool pitch yet.
And action.
Barstool, if you are watching this, we want to work with you. We're a health and fitness podcast that helps people look good when they fuck and have a good time while they're doing it. Most fitness advice is boring and it's unpractical. We help everyday normal people who don't live in the gym. And we have fun while we do it.
So you kind of already said that already.
Yeah, that was just, I wanted to get it clean in one take. So everyone who's listening, you just heard take 2. The first take is not going to be a clip. That one is, but Zach failed to contribute to it.
Well, I was just more thinking about, like, you already said this. So are we cutting the first one out, or is this one take warrior and the listeners just get to hear it twice now?
I mean, the listeners get to hear it twice for sure. Barstool will see that clip. And then if they come to this, they'll be like, wow, they are a shit show.
They were going to come to us to hire us, and now we lost it.
Yeah. And now my response to Barstool will be, sorry, we got high first. We shouldn't have done that. Whoopsies. We do that sometimes.
We've done it a little
more frequently.
That's how you say it, more frequently.
We've done it more frequently since we got back from Vegas, honestly.
We've been on a tear since Vegas.
Every weekend there's been something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is funny. I feel like I'm 40 saying that. Like,
No.
I haven't had one weekend to just hang out. Like, I had that this weekend.
I mean, yeah, but we
Whatever.
got drunk last night.
We did. We had some bourbon. You had some wine first.
Yeah, had some wine, some
Yeah.
bourbon,
Yeah. It was
smoked
a
a
good
little bit.
night. Yeah. Just hung out.
So I think we got to dive into powerlifting.
Yeah. So you said you might not want to do this meet coming up, or maybe just not really do powerlifting in general.
Yeah. And
By the way, he has not had this conversation with me. I found this out 2 days ago.
it was
and
yesterday.
It was
I
yesterday?
think it was yesterday.
Okay, I'm an idiot. Well, I found this out yesterday, and I texted Zach, and he said, no, we're not talking about it until we get on the podcast.
I wanted some raw conversation.
All right, let's hear it.
So, with my number one goal being like health, longevity, wellness, stuff like that, I think I'm one slip away in my back from needing surgery. I mean, if my back ends up fucking up again,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've been pretty lucky with the little slips only being acute herniations, and I've been able to recover from that in a couple weeks. And it's honestly not even deadlifting. Like, I feel more comfortable deadlifting than I do squatting, but it's once I hit this certain weight for squats, I start to feel it in my back. And then I'm worried about when we start doing 1 rep maxes, and even on like meet day of like, all right, this is a PR.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fuck that up, because again, I want to do one or the other, either powerlifting or bodybuilding. The reason I was going to do both was to try it out and see which one I was better at, or which one I enjoyed more.
Yeah.
With how much fun I had bodybuilding at the show day,
Yeah.
and with how well I did, part of me wants to just dive headfirst into that and then have a full off season of like, here's what I need to pick up.
Yeah.
Here's what I need to do to basically get my pro card. I still haven't gotten the pro card yet, and
Mm-hmm.
that is now a goal. And just see how far I can take bodybuilding.
No, I mean, that makes 100% sense. Like, and I think you texted this to me because we did text a little bit about it, but it wasn't much. I felt, because I know Jesse told me that you guys had talked about it, like just very slightly,
Very
kind
briefly.
of in passing. And I was like, damn, he didn't even tell me yet. And was part of it, why was that? Did you feel like, was it specifically because you wanted to save it for the podcast, or did you feel like you were going to kind of let me down a little bit, or I was going to be bummed?
A little bit of both, but it was, so Tim was the first one that I told. And he's like, have you told Connor yet? And I was like, no, I was probably going to tell him later. This was on Friday. And I was like, I'll probably tell him later today. And he's like, you should just tell him on the podcast. And I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Let me just save it for the podcast. And then I probably told like 3 or 4 more people that there was a chance I wasn't going to power lift.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, did you tell Connor yet? I was like, no, I was going to save it for the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I think most importantly, like, you got to do what's going to make your training most, what's going to make you excited to work out and excited to train. And like I said, you texted me and you said that in your mind, you're like, I could be good at both, or I could be great at one. And like, honestly, that's true. Like, you're not going to get the most out of one if you're kind of teetering back and forth
with
between
the other one in
the
the back
two.
of my mind, yeah.
And like I said, that doesn't mean you can't be good or better than you are right now, but you know, you're like, we're both this way. Like, we're very all or nothing. So like, that's exactly why I'm not going to try to go do a show next year, because I'd like to put at least one full off season in before I do a show. And if I'm going all in an off season for bodybuilding, that would be during a powerlifting season. And so I want to put all my effort into powerlifting. So I 100% get it. And I mean, you could have a fucking hell of a career in either one if you wanted.
Well, and that's what I was telling you earlier was like, if I would have done powerlifting first, would I have the same mentality towards bodybuilding? Like, would I say, oh, I did well in powerlifting, let me just take a full off year and get better and then compete again? So I don't know. It's originally I looked at it like powerlifting will build more muscle, which it will, but I feel like I need to focus, and this could just be like with programming. We could just have more of the accessories being picking up my weak points in bodybuilding, but then that could fuck up the total volume. And
well, I mean, you could still do a power building approach. It would just be more geared. I mean, it'd be like similar, but there's definitely some differences there. Like we would be focusing more on accessories, probably be using more machines.
Right. So then I'd be not half-assing the powerlifting.
You'd still be getting stronger.
I'd still be getting stronger.
At that same rate and in more hypertrophic.
Right.
Like, rep ranges that stimulate a little bit more hypertrophy.
So then I'm half-assing both of them.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. Like if you were on a full-on like power building program, then yeah, you'd kind of be like half-assing both, but we'd probably be, I wouldn't say half-assing the hypertrophy, but we'd be getting more out of it, and we'd be getting a little bit less
out of
the
strength.
Yeah, because I mean, power building is kind of a vague term if you think about it. Like you could have a power building program that's still geared a little bit more towards powerlifting, and vice versa. I think it's
a spectrum.
It is.
Yeah,
it is, and so we would just be more biased towards the hypertrophy side of things, but that doesn't mean we can't have some heavy squats, heavy deadlifts, heavy bench.
So that's kind of what I wanted, what I thought the program will turn into if I don't do powerlifting, because I do really enjoy getting strong.
Yeah.
And like I fucking cranked out 6 reps deadlift at yikes. 3 reps of deadlifts at 600 pounds. So like I do want to see what I can push, especially my deadlift too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've gotten to the point where my bench is just by far my worst lift. And actually, I hate bench pressing now.
Yeah.
As fucked up as that sounds, I hate bench pressing.
Dude, you could probably just do like a deadlift only meet if you wanted to. Sign up, like if you end up wanting to do one, just sign up.
That's
like
what I was thinking.
Yeah, just sign up like a week in advance and just be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do this.
I'm just gonna deadlift.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be kind of fun.
And you could still set a deadlift state record actually in the deadlift only competitions.
So that was kind of what I was thinking. Because again, with the back with squatting, I want to push it, but I don't want to fuck my back up. And I felt really good with the sub-maximal lifting.
Yeah.
Like I feel strong, I feel powerful. I'm still building muscle and strength. I don't have a desire anymore to test that 1 rep max squat. And then bench is just, and I have an impressive bench, but it's nowhere near as impressive as my deadlift or squat. That to me, I'd rather focus on those and not.
That's funny.
Not bench.
I get that. I'm honestly surprised that I never thought I'd hear those words come out of
your mouth.
That's so funny.
I'm turning into a bodybuilder with the mentality of like, oh, you don't need a bench press. You don't need a 1 rep max.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
No, I get it. I think it's funny how that is though. I mean, you experiment with different things and find that like you just enjoy different shit more than you thought you would. But I think that's pretty dope that at least you really enjoyed the bodybuilding, because part of me, like, I didn't want to push you too hard to, like...
For bodybuilding?
Like, yeah, because part of me is like, fuck, did you have to do another show now? In my mind.
No, 100% do.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say that to you until you knew you wanted to do one.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just, like, pressure you into doing another one just to do it, because that shit's hard.
But it's so rewarding. And you know this from powerlifting, too. Like, once you complete that goal... then you can look back and be like, that was rewarding. Like, I want that feeling again. No matter how much it sucks, like the prep leading up to it. I mean, your body felt like it got hit by a freight train.
Yeah.
While you were training for your meet. Like.
For sure.
But then whoa, yikes. After the fact of like the show or the meet, you're like, damn, that was worth it. You do another one.
Yeah. I mean... my powerlifting prep was brutal for sure. They're so difficult in different ways.
Like complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. But I mean, I loved it. It's something about seeing all those months of hard work pay off, especially when, you know, you stuck to it on the days that you really didn't feel like it. And like you said, I mean, there's not many things that are more rewarding than that when so all of it really is just delaying instant gratification. Like you want to go on stage right when you sign up, you know, like I want to go on the platform right fucking now. But, you know, you got to keep working, and you do it day in and day out with no, there really isn't much gratification there a lot of days.
No, there's not.
Like you're not getting anything out of it. Like there are multiple times during my prep where I was like, damn, do I really even want to fucking do this? And like I did, but in that moment I was like, fuck.
But that's what builds character. It's when you can kind of dig deep and find why you're doing what you're doing. And like you can take fitness out of the equation. Like having that drive and that purpose of like, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because like we always say, motivation comes and goes. And if you only rely on motivation to like do what you need to do, you're never going to get anywhere.
Well, and that's the thing with like when we were both going through our preps is it wasn't as much about motivation as much as it was about momentum. Like for us, it was like, hey, let's have one really good day and then string a few of those together and then just fucking rinse and repeat. And
creates a structure.
Yeah. And so that just gave me an idea for a t-shirt.
Sounds more merch.
Yep. Momentum over motivation. There we go.
There we go.
That one and leave the lights on. That's the other one.
Yeah, we gotta get going on those.
We do. I think we talked about those on like our 10th episode. Something like that.
Way back.
It was really early. Yeah, so we'll have to fucking make those shirts for sure. Which is another reason that Barstool needs to pick us up, so they can start.
Got a lot of merch.
Yeah, because they do a lot of merch, and that is not something I want to spend time doing.
No, I'd give you a big cut of that.
Yeah, very big cut.
It's free advertisement.
Yep. Anyway, today we haven't even talked about our subject for today.
Yikes.
We are talking about the pros and cons of having a gym partner. This is something we literally just came up with this yesterday, and it kind of came up on accident. I didn't even think it would be a good topic until you were with one of your other roommates,
Manny,
and we were on FaceTime, and he said something about pushing himself harder when he works out with you and Forrest. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I definitely push myself harder when I'm with Zach. And then we kind of talked about a few of the downsides of that. And I was like, I wonder if this could be a podcast. And then you came up with a few more ideas, and I was like, yeah, I mean, there are pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
But is this a good topic people want to listen to? And then your roommate said something like, oh, yeah, that would be dope. There's a ton of stuff about that. Told one of my clients earlier today, and he's like, oh, I think that's a great topic. And I was like, okay, sweet. Sometimes I don't know, like, if people give a shit about certain things.
Yes, but I think that's you overthinking it. This is our show. We can make the rules.
Yeah, we do make the rules. We do whatever the fuck we want.
Because guess what? If this one gets less downloads, we know not to talk about having a gym partner or not.
That's true.
Next podcast.
That's very true. Yeah, we'll just never talk about this again.
So how do we want to do this? Do we want to go like pro, con, or do we want to list all the pros?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cons?
Let's do that. Let's go pro and con. I mean, there's more cons than pros that we have on here.
So start with the pros.
Well, here's the other thing though, that I wanted to clarify before we kind of go balls deep into this, is the pros and the cons. While they're I didn't know if I want to say may or might. I don't fucking know. There are more cons than there are pros, but they don't all like weigh the same. They don't hold the same value. So some of them, while there may be less or fewer pros, they might be way more than 3 of the cons put together. So take that as you will.
You just got to take it on like a case-by-case situation. And once we go through these, you'll understand what we mean by that.
I don't even know what you meant by that, but I'm still pretty high.
Like there are some days that it's more beneficial to have a gym partner versus other days. And I don't want to start listing things off because that's going to defeat the purpose of the podcast. So we can't have a conversation of it then. But put a pin in this conversation. We'll go through this, and then we'll come back to this at the end.
We're both going to forget that this happened. But
let's go to it. Did you see my hands when I did that?
Yeah, I didn't like that. So since we got more cons than pros, I think we go with a con first.
So we're going to alternate? Well, hold on. Let me ask you this then. Are you pro gym partner or anti gym partner?
I'm pro gym partner
Why?
because it's just more fun. Environment's better. It's a more motivating environment for me when I'm training with my friends. Also because my friends train hard as fuck. If I was training with people who are just kind of like half-assing it, like I'm all for like having breaks between sets, shoot the shit, talk, laugh, but like I'm gonna still go fucking hard.
I'm like, would you for every single day, if you could work out with a gym partner every single day, would you do it?
No.
So the majority of the time, would you say gym partner or no gym partner?
50-50. Honestly, it's like 50-50. It depends on me, but I do go back and forth. Like there's something to be said about throwing the headphones on and
just head down,
ignoring
get to
the
work.
world. Yeah. And just putting on some music that pumps you up.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's other times where I'm like, damn, I want to go like no headphones, work out with a friend.
I could do that maybe one day a week for like half of a workout. Like when I'm doing my compound lifts, mainly deadlifting is the only time I want gym partners. For accessory work, for squatting, benching, headphones in.
We've squatted and benched together, and we didn't really.
Actually, I didn't mind the benching that much. Squatting, I need music in.
That's probably another reason you might not like powerlifting as you get closer to the prep because you're not listening to music on those top sets. Yeah.
Yikes.
Let's go with the first pro. First pro is accountability. If you have someone that you're going to the gym with, someone you know you're meeting there, like you guys made plans to meet there, so you know if you're gonna meet them at the gym that you're a fucking asshole if you don't show up, right? Like you're being a flake. So it's gonna hold you a little bit more accountable to actually get your ass to the gym.
And I think that's super beneficial. Like right when you start working out or you're like trying to get back into the gym, it's nice to have that accountability factor of like, all right, going to the gym isn't something that I've been doing, but having someone that's relying on me to go is a perfect way to start that habit and get in that routine. And
when you meet with someone, it's in your schedule. It's in your calendar. It's got to happen.
Right. You take time out of your day for that.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go next pro?
Let's go next. Let's go with the con. Top con.
Con. You should not be on the same program. So typically when you have a gym partner and you're working out together, you guys are doing the exact same thing. Probably most of the time same weights too. And someone is always going to be suffering. What I mean by that is two different people could have the exact same goals and the same body types, but they require different things to get the job done. There's
different volumes, different intensities,
different tools.
Yep. So like maybe one of you might have pretty limited shoulder mobility or like a shoulder injury where maybe instead of doing a barbell overhead press with your lifting partner, you should be doing like a landmine single arm overhead press or something like that. It's funny you said typically lifting the same weight because one of the other cons was that one partner is probably stronger.
Yep.
So let's say you don't use the same weight as your training partner. That shit gets annoying, taking off plates and putting them back on. Luckily, when we squatted together,
I was
2
in a
weeks ago?
deload day and you were in your peak week?
No, I think you were in week 1 of your program actually, which was like
it was week 2.
It was week 2? Okay,
yeah. So
you weren't in a deload, so fuck off. And I was like in week 3 of mine, so you're not even that much stronger.
I was also doing 12 reps, and how many were you doing?
No, you were doing 5 sets of 3.
Yeah.
But it was really sub-maximal, and then I had like my top set of 3 that were, I thought I had 1 rep in reserve, but then I hit 365 for 3, and I was like, I probably had 1 more in me. The next week I hit 385 for 2, and it looked like I had at least 2 left in me.
Yeah.
So I don't think that 365 was really 1 rep in reserve. I think it was more.
Yeah.
Regardless, my goal that day was a set of 3 with 1 rep in reserve. You were doing 5 sets of 3 with like 10 more pounds than I was, or 20 more pounds.
75. I think it was 10 more pounds.
So 10 more pounds than I was, but you had 5 sets of 3 with like 4 to 6 reps in reserve.
Yeah.
So whatever. But the point is,
though.
we didn't actually have to strip all the weights off and back on and all that. So it wasn't that bad. But normally one of you is going to be fucking lifting significantly. Yeah, maybe it's not significantly lighter, but it's probably lighter. And it just gets annoying.
Yes.
again, that one probably doesn't hold that much weight
Yeah.
to it. Because, like, yeah, it's annoying, but
you can work around it.
that isn't as much of a negative as, like, accountability is a positive.
Am I up?
Yes, sir.
The next one under pros, push yourself harder. So, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. And we actually just talked about this, but when you do have a lifting partner, it picks up the intensity a little bit more, and you end up pushing yourself a little bit harder. I could argue that could be in the cons, depending on what your program says and where you are in your program and how often you work out with a lifting partner. Because if you're going balls to the wall 7 days a week, that's a little bit much. So, but I think overall, the majority of people do need to push themselves harder. So having that gym partner will push you that extra bit.
Yeah, I do think there are more people that need to be pushed harder than people who need to dial it back.
Yes.
But there are some people, the fitness fanatics, the people who love to work out, who are always pushing it hard. Those are the people who probably need to dial it back a little bit, or at least like have some deloads in their training here and there. But I think for the most part, this is a positive for most people. But like you said, if one of you is going through a deload week, but you're training with a partner and you see them squatting some heavy ass weight because they're not on a deload, and you're like, oh shit, well, maybe I should just jump in and go heavy.
Right.
Like you always feel good when you're deloading, and it's for that reason, because you're in a deload. That's why you're still feeling good. But there's always that little voice in you that's like, oh, I feel good.
That was easy.
Throw an extra plate on here. But resist the temptation. Don't do it. But you also probably shouldn't have a whole 45-pound plate off your
deload.
Squat and a deload. Yeah, probably shouldn't be that much. But
I was gonna make that comment, but I figured I'd let it slide.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's more like the pushing yourself harder definitely outweighs possibly pushing each other too hard. Yeah, for sure. So the next pro is having a spotter. So that one's huge if you're bench pressing, if you're barbell bench pressing, even dumbbells after a certain weight. Like for me, it's once I get past the 80-pound dumbbells, that's when I need a training partner. If I want to get as many reps in as I can on a shoulder press or incline bench, even flat dumbbell, like if I do the 85s or 90s by myself, I could probably get like 6. But if I get them up into position and do the first press all by myself and then start going, I'm probably getting like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Like it takes so much more energy than you realize once you're getting up into the heavy dumbbells.
That's what I was going to say. The biggest thing is, yes, with benching, but with dumbbell shoulder press, having someone help you up on that first rep. I mean, I think it was yesterday. I was doing heavy dumbbell shoulder press, and literally, I got to the 95s, got 8 reps, no problem. Then I went up to 100, and the first rep probably took me like 7 seconds. And after that, I was like, well, I'm cashed out.
Yep. It could also be beneficial to have a spotter while you're squatting too. Some people don't feel comfortable ditching the bar. Like when you step out in front, kind of dump the bar off your shoulders. Some people don't feel comfortable with that, with failing a squat, or they don't like having the safety racks too high up, whatever the case. So sometimes having a spotter when you squat you might feel more confident.
We should make YouTube videos on how to bail out from a squat and how to spot a squat. Because if you're spotting a squat and you don't know what you're doing, that could be very bad for both people.
Yeah. That also, there's a logistical hurdle in that we can't film us talking and whatnot in our gym.
Right. And I was saying, well, like at some point we'll have to get.
That's on you guys when you guys fucking blow us up. Or when Barstool picks us up. Yeah, then we'll start filming some more YouTube content.
Boom. Next con is potential lack of focus.
Could be enabling.
Potential lack of focus.
Okay.
I would have done that if I saw that.
Too late. You already committed. It's fine.
Yeah, but this is my podcast.
It's not true.
Potential lack of focus. So obviously with another gym partner there, you tend to talk a little bit too long, and depending on what your rest periods should be, if you're supposed to rest a minute, but you sit and you talk for 5 minutes in between each set, like, one, it's going to drag the workout on much longer, and there's a good chance that you end up skipping the stuff at the end because of due to time. But just like the rest periods are just as important as the working sets.
Yeah.
So making sure you're getting ample rest, but not too much.
So when we first came back from quarantine, we worked out together on Saturdays. We both had our deadlift days on Saturdays, and literally getting through our deadlifts and then bench took 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was insane. We took like 10 minutes between sets, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There was another powerlifter at our gym, and he would go in on Saturdays at that time. And this guy's a talker. We're both talkers. So like you get all three of us in the same gym while we're all deadlifting, already taking what should be like a 2 to 5 minute rest period turns into a 8 to 12 minute rest period.
Yep.
And we're all just talking, shooting the shit. And then we're like, oh shit, like I got to rush through my accessories now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big problem a lot of people have who are on like a power building program. They don't take their accessory work seriously enough. And I was starting to get into that boat because we took too much time between sets. And this can lead to another con, which is enablement, possible enablement, meaning like you get to the end of the workout and let's say you guys have kind of dragged it on and, you know, you have some arms left in the workout and you're like, dude, honestly, let's just like skip these. We've already gone too long. We got to fucking make it to Chipotle after this. We got our orders ready. We got our mobile orders ready to pick up when we get there.
Yep.
So, I mean, you run that risk of depending on who your gym partner is. Like for me, if we're like about to get food and we're running late on time, and if Zach were to be like, hey man, like, you know, we got some burritos ready, I'd be like, twist my arm, let's get the abs.
Right.
And to counter the con of, you know, potential enablement or lack of focus, you could also say that it definitely makes your workouts a lot more fun. Because I mean, you're essentially just like hanging out with a friend. You got a couple fucking gym bros in there pumping iron, having a good time. Like, it is more fun. So I don't know. To me, having more fun kind of outweighs the potential enablement, because I know for me, my goals are serious enough to where like that's not going to talk me out of
doing something.
Yeah, getting my workouts in. But, you know, you have to know yourself and know who you're training with. Like you might be two people who you can really focus on your own and crush your own workouts, but you get together and you just kind of become a couple of slapdicks and you're just messing around the whole time. So, you know, you got to know yourself and know your lifting partner for sure. But I would assume that when you finally have someone you enjoy working out with, that you guys probably do push each other pretty hard.
Well, and I'm just going to like, I think back to college. It was my sophomore year. Me and one of my buddies, we worked out together every single day. And I mean, this kind of ties some of them together, but it adds the next con of may have different goals, where we would do the entire workout together, but I cared more about strength and he cared more about endurance. So we would go through all of the heavy sets of like whatever, bench press for the day. And then he would stay at the bench press and do his light sets of like 20 reps, because he's like, I don't feel like I got a good workout unless I just cash every single muscle out. And I was so far away from that. Like, I don't want to do anything that could potentially lose strength. So I was like, I'm just going to do my heavy sets and then get out. So we had two different goals, and we were trying to like find ways to merge. And it wasn't even a program, because it was kind of like, what do we want to do today? Where we were trying to get the best of both worlds, where we were still able to get some strength, still able to do some endurance, while he was able to do some endurance. And we ended up realizing we just couldn't work out together because our goals were completely opposite.
Mm-hmm. And you skipped another con, which is super annoying, but it's fine. Second one you skipped over.
Because the fucking highlights aren't working on my thing.
That's a terrible excuse. The other con is that your schedules have to match up. So if one of you works days and the other works nights, one of you has a kid, one of you has a dog or whatever, and schedules you just can't match up and get to the gym on time, then it's one of those things that's easy when you're like, oh, well, I trained with a lifting partner. And then you're like, oh, well, he can't make it today, so I guess this is an off day.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're like, it's an active recovery day. I'll just go for a walk. Yeah. You know, and you're like, oh, you know you're supposed to be training today.
Yep, you went for a walk yesterday.
And we still have a bonus tip for you guys. So the bonus tip. It's not a tip. This bonus
benefit?
It could be a pro or a con, getting food after the workouts. So it's a pro in the sense that you get the social value of food, right? Where you get to bond over a meal and you just worked hard, you just worked out, and you exhausted your body, and now you're ready to eat.
You're hungry.
But this could be a problem if you guys always choose shitty options. And when you go out to eat, there tend to be more shitty options than decent options. I wouldn't even say good options.
Yes.
The good options are very minimal. The decent options are still, there's not that many.
I would say that is my favorite part about a lifting partner is the food afterwards. What was your go-to? Like when you go lift with someone, you guys had a huge leg day.
Man, here I would say Chipotle.
It's always been my go-to.
Well, for
Double
two
wrap
reasons.
burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for here, I would say, yeah, Chipotle. Number one, because there's one right next to our gym. Number two, because there's not a ton of healthy options in Chicago. There's a lot of amazing restaurants. Not a ton of them are very healthy, especially if you're looking for one that you don't have to, a place that you don't have to sit down at for an hour. There's a place in Orange County that I love. It's called Waba Grill. They have these teriyaki chicken bowls, and you can get pork in them too. I think they have tofu options now as well. Ooh. But they, it's essentially just like rice, veggies, and then you can throw teriyaki sauce and hot sauce on it. They already they put some teriyaki on there, but obviously you need more. And then the hot sauce they have that goes with the teriyaki is unreal. So that was always my go-to in California, but there's not any places here that are as good with teriyaki bowls. And the one place that is like a 20-minute or 15-minute drive. So that'd be a long-ass walk or bike ride. So I'm probably not going there.
No, Chipotle's better.
Yeah, and it's a decent wait, too. Like the Waba Grill, it was just as quick as Chipotle. Like it's ready real quick.
That's nice. So going through all these pros and cons, I found a way to make sure you get all of the pros with none of the cons. Can you guess what that is?
No.
Hire a trainer.
Thank you for watching this episode of 5-Year Plan. If you like what we're doing here on the show, be sure to like and subscribe.
If you want one of your questions answered on a future podcast, you can write into our website at www.5yearplanmedia.com, or you can write into our Instagram page at 5yearplanmedia. You can find me on Instagram at @Z_Condon.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ConnorYoungman_.
Peace.
See ya.